We all go a little mad sometimes.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
They're here.
Gonna get my IMDb up as usual. Hello.
Hi, I'm Nathan.
Hi, I'm your man that gets killed on the sled, who I found out last night by way of internet is gay in real life, which for some reason always makes me happy.
Witty catchphrase inserted here.
And you're listening too.
We will never ever get this right. Ever. No. And you're listening to They're Here
podcast.
A discussion.
A disciplinary action.
Of all things horror.
Fear.
And the macabre. Extended echo inserted here.
Oh my god, one of the little kids is Alex in the second Mummy movie. Rick and Evie's kid. When all those kids show up.
Rick and Evie's kid? Yeah. I know her.
Alex. He's like the main character in that second movie.
Okay. I've wanted to use this one soundbite for the longest time. Kath and Kim, I love you.
I only watched the episode the other day where they go and buy stuff for Sharon's wedding or whatever, and it's like, do you want a Ferrari? A Ferrari to your cat. Beautiful Pugmina.
You get out of here.
I'm not going to help but just happy browsing. I fucking love that show.
So, unless you're new to this shit, we do a thing where we talk about stuff. And today we're talking about Christmas movies.
Hey!
Because last week we wanted to make sure that people knew it was Christmas.
What did we even do last week?
Demonology.
Ah, yes. How could I have forgotten the magic of podcasting?
Editing and podcasting.
Yes, when you listen to the episode, it will be Christmas. And you will know about it because we will say it is Christmas.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So today we're talking about 2008's. Now, just disclaimer, I chose this because if I was to think about a Christmas horror movie, it's one of the first ones that popped into my head. It's 2008's The Children.
It's actually it's one that we play off other options, and we have done in the last couple of years, and it's never come out like in the vote or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We didn't want to give you a choice this time.
Christmas is for us, you fucking losers.
It's all about us. It's never about you. We're not giving it to you. We're doing it for us.
But I was very, very surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie, just from how initially cheap it looked.
Uh-huh.
And for like, there's a lot of like TV stars and stuff in it. Like I know Hannah. I read her name is Toyn Toyn. Hannah Toynton. She's Casey. She's like the main daughter. She's
the
her POV
2008 scene girl.
I lived for it.
Like,
it was
so
like
the teenager, the scene kid wearing a corset
purple
with black
streaks,
skinny jeans, purple
denim
streaks,
skirt and high waist or
lace
knee
gloves.
Socks. Yeah,
gross.
Fingerless. She cut the fingers off herself. And just like, I don't know,
the
this
really
was like,
bad eye makeup.
I loved it though. This is such a little time capsule.
Oh god!
But I know her
very
from
2000s.
The In-Betweeners.
She is the
Simon's
In-Betweeners.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Sheffield, Robbie, who plays the uncle, that was totally fucking her, by the way.
Oh, of course.
I know him from Hollyoaks. He was.
I've never watched that show.
I did briefly back in the day, but he was the principal in that show who like kidnapped his daughter and her son, who she gave up, who she tried to get back, and then he like built a stone door. I'm so I don't think I ever expected Kat Deely to come up on our fucking podcast ever, but there she is.
But there she is.
And then Emma Berthistle, who Emma last night was convinced was Jodie Comer, the female Doctor Who, and I was like, no,
oh my god,
isn't.
yes, they look exactly the same. Yeah,
but that's it. They're the only ones I recognize.
Of course, she would like cash out and be like, "Hey, listen, this is Doctor Who. See, she's totally awesome."
This actually did give me big.
You will never sell
Doctor
me a
Who
female
vibes,
Doctor Who.
Didn't it? Which you fucking Doctor Who freaks are so weird. It's okay that there's literal Daleks, or that Daleks make pig people make them into people in 1920s New York, or that I only watched that episode 2 weeks ago, and it really pissed me off because they look out into modern day New York.
Yeah,
they're looking at the skyline, which is very obviously like today's New York.
Yeah,
it's like New York was not a whole gigantic fucking city the way it is now in the fucking 30s because it hadn't been built yet. But go off though. But I'll never have a female doctor. That's crazy.
I will never give in to it. So the one thing I actually did want to mention is it's written by Paul Andrew Williams. So his script and produced. He also wrote and directed a good old, They're Here podcast classic, The Cottage.
Oh,
isn't it great?
You
can see the two working.
I was going to say, you really didn't have to, convince me of that, though. It is very much so that kind of, right, okay, I've directed a couple of episodes of, Holby City or something on BBC or Channel 4.
It
seems like a Film 4 original kind of movie.
Yeah.
But this was actually very, very good.
It was. I gotta say, the pacing, it was a little bit of a slow burn at the beginning, but to be fair and to give it credit where credit's due, it did pick up really well, and from the death of the first parent right till the end, I was sort of just yeah, okay, this is you have me sold at gore, blood and guts coming out of the guy's head by a rake. It's pretty great.
I thought this was going to be way more straightforward, where again, I had been aware of this movie and stuff and kind of knew that it was just the evil kid movie. They just kind of went for broke and kind of played it as is. There wasn't a big Village of the Damned or
Children of the Corn or
The Omen or anything like that.
There's no sinister belief behind it or anything like that.
They kind of made it, from what we can gather, they kind of made it it's kind of a disease movie. It's a viral outbreak movie.
So
28 Days Later, but for kids.
Oh yeah, so my takeaway from this was, it's hinted at the beginning, it's poisoned frog spawn, I guess. Yeah. But in the end, to be fair, it's kind of like Romero's Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Night of the Dead series, where you just hear it. I think a Night of the Living Dead, it was raised from Venus or something.
It's literally it's technically an alien virus movie. The first
and then one of them was a comet or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of looking at it, by the end of it kind of didn't matter why.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not overly complicated. It's again, 2008 was a time where we could have 80-minute long movies, and that was fine. You know, if this was made today, this would be a 3.5 hour long thing, and it would go into the biology of why these children are
and super, super dark themes. Now, not that it doesn't touch upon some of those dark themes, but it's not to the depth of something like Hereditary, you know what I'm saying?
No,
it's the era of the early 2000s, where you got all of the reboots and remakes and basically slasher movies, but bring them into the 2000s rather than the 80s, Oh yeah. And we're back because it was an awkward phone call happening there, and my iPod was ringing, and we're there. So yeah, basically it was just the whole the situation as it was unfolding through the movie was just so encompassing that by the end credits you've forgotten about it completely as to how it started. You just know the kids got the sniffles basically, and then they started killing off the parents.
The kids are going crazy.
They're losing their minds.
I like it though. It's that's the thing. On its head, it's a very, very simple concept, and they don't really do too much to overly complicate it.
No.
And I don't know. I was expecting this to kind of, because you had said you were oh, this is kind of terrible, or it's kind of cheesy or something the night before.
How very camp of it all.
But it really was good though, genuinely suspenseful. But also there's this thing, I think it was on, I forget what they said it about, it was either The Omen or Rosemary's Baby or something like that on Bravo's 100 Scariest Moments, as to why kids are so creepy as villains. It's because it's you create them and then they come back and they kill you, and because kids are so kind of blank slate, and because they're so plain, it's really kind of disturbing when they start doing stuff. And the thing is, in this movie, the kids don't necessarily act like monsters. They kind of just act like children.
Gonna eat you, baby!
Or it's like The Brood, where it's just like John Landis said.
That's a great
like,
movie.
He heard a baby crying. Again, this is Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments, which we need to do an episode on, by the way.
Yes.
I feel like that's another really niche horror thing that like bonded us. Was like, oh my god, you know what this is as well? But he said he heard a baby going crazy in like a waiting room or like on an airplane or something, and he was like, what would happen if that like the rageful screams of this kid? What would happen if that kid could like physically manifest this? And actually go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, because when kids scream, they have no sense of like,
Their surroundings.
this is embarrassing. Yeah, they don't get embarrassed by acting out. So it's like if a kid could physically act out that rage or act out that like frustration, that would be very scary.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think what's kind of really interesting is like, you know, the family all arrives and they have their happy Christmas, blah 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 blah, and they're all getting drunk and having bottles of fucking wine. They're getting hammered.
She came out and I was like, cleared the fucking place up, did you, Claire? That's like 9 bottles of wine. There's only 4 of us drinking.
They are like,
bro.
holy shit. They are, when it comes to like the moment, like the kids are sort of like, there's also this weird dynamic between the stepsister and the little tiny younger blonde stepsister.
Because she calls him dad one time, but that's after he attacks her. So I think that's her trying to like endear her to him and stop. But I was I kind of had figured she was the daughter from previous relationship,
the more
and then they
loved
had
one.
Those 2 Nordic fucking children. For real though.
But these parents, the conversations that they have, like, so this is
I
this
work
is
in
something.
Chinese medicine. She's like, sure you do, John. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So like these, especially like with today, if you like the connotations that the connotations and the undertones of those conversations, if you put them in today's context, like especially after the pandemic, COVID, via like vaccinations and things like that, because that's essentially the conversation that they were having around, I think it was like the fireplace, not the dinner table.
Yeah,
but they were
Jonah
like,
was
oh, I
basically
don't
saying,
believe
like,
in like jabbing my kids with all of these, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is like, even I was like right now this is like really awkward, and I was like, if one of my family members said this to me, I'd be like, okay.
Oh, well, just look at what happened to the one super anti-vaxxer we all know.
Yeah.
But, like, that's terrible, but you know who you are.
We are not wrong. Oh,
it's like when
sorry.
Jonah is
Sorry.
talking-
Real quick, this is something that I had to mention. So, this is totally off topic. I gotta say that, but I did say I would say it in the episode. So we have a new subscriber on our YouTube channel, and I met them.
Oh,
and I
fuck.
think, oh my god, I totally forgot to tell you this, but I did say I would mention it in the podcast. Shout out to Void in Starbucks on Hoth Harbor. You are fucking awesome.
We're getting away.
Yeah, like, you're fucking awesome. I like immediately clicked with her. I told them that I like really wanted to like because I had asked them, I saw their name tag and they said their name was Void, and I was like, that's a really interesting name. And then they explained to me that it was the name that they chose for themselves. I was like, cool, totally cool. And they asked me like, why are you asking? I was like, oh, just I'm one of those
when you
weirdos.
get to choose your own name, don't pick something plain as fuck. Pick something cool like
Yeah,
Void.
Void is an
Holy
awesome name.
fuck.
Can I just say that?
It's like the artist formerly known as Prince or something.
Yeah. Apollonius 6.
Oh, for real.
7.
A nasty
8.
girl.
9. But shout out to you, Void, because we got chatting about the They're Here podcast, and you sounded so totally interested, and literally like the following day you subscribed, and like, shout out to you. You're fucking awesome. I just gotta say that. I completely
thank
forgot,
you.
but I did say that. But thank you.
Hope to meet you
You are
again.
awesome. Shout out to you, Void. Starbucks at Hoth Harbor. You're awesome.
Woo, I'm expecting a discount now.
Yeah. You know, when the Honda CBR rolls up, you know it's me. Just saying. It's awesome.
Aww.
You're awesome. I gotta say that.
If you can't see, I'm totally doing like a big cheesy smile now. That's so cute. Thank you.
Less, seamless, and pointless.
But yeah, I just thought I'd say that.
Fuck yeah.
It's cool. We have cool subscribers now. Well, we have one really cool. So
the movie.
yeah, sorry, tangent done with.
So this little girl,
yeah.
the oldest of the little children,
the Nordic looking bitch that she
Yes.
could fit into like the Northmen for some
I was
reason.
going to say the Northern. She looked like a Valkyrie or something because she had like just this
Piercing
pale
blue
skin,
eyes,
like white hair.
sleeping bags underneath the eyes, all of that shit.
I feel like she had the most to do out of all the little children because she's the one that we get to see physically turn. Like but I can see her like
we see the psychological
contemplating,
drama
like,
that's
oh my
going
god,
through
what's
her
happening?
head. Yeah,
and there's a shot of when she's in the bedroom. It's when I assume they get to her and they actually turn her.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a body snatchers kind of way as well because you can tell she's super paranoid.
Yeah,
and is worrying about it. But again, if she went to her parents, it would just look like kid shit. Like it wouldn't look like anything crazy. But it's she's sitting there. And the 3 other kids are just sitting on the top bunk, and they're just
looking down at her.
And she like
yeah,
recesses into herself and like grabs her knees and pulls them to herself. And I'm like, this little girl is acting her fucking like dick off. This is crazy.
Ironically, she's probably the best actor in the
Now
entire
listen, Casey.
film.
Girl,
Oh come on!
the
Like
choices were made. In my mind, I was like,
choices.
"Kick the door! Kick the door! Why would you pick up a children's wooden chair and try and bash it out?"
People are
Already darted. No, honestly, it was crazy. But when they first rock up, right, I was like, she's fucking that uncle. Something is going on with that uncle. She gets out of the van, or she gets out of the car. Or whatever.
They just hug a little too long.
Exactly. And when she shows up, she gets out and we see like they kind of do like a body shot of her, and then it cuts to him like looking at her, and it's like
real creepy. All
we know
of a
like
sudden.
the language of movies, like there's something is being inferred there. And then I was kind of like, Emma was like, oh no, like what the fuck, and I was like, no, that uncle's Dylan or something.
Oh,
or
absolutely.
There's like a relationship going on, or
there's a secret innocent relationship, or something devious is going on for sure.
Yeah, for real. And
because
then
it's
they
implied,
get to the
like you
thing.
kind of either think it's like, oh, they just confide in each other more than the normal relationship would be with your uncle.
Because they also kind of do,
or it's
though.
devious.
And then Emma was
you
like,
know?
are they related? And I was like, no, it's not that weird because he's uncle by marriage.
Yeah, but also she is, her and her mother are married into that family.
No.
It's not the other way around, they are
Claire,
married in.
the 2 sisters, the 2 mothers are sisters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so
It's the 2 men are
uncle is
married in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so, back onto what we were talking about, though. Jonah, the stepdad of Casey and the husband of Elaine, he's like into Eastern medicine and like Chinese herbs and stuff like
Which
that.
I can totally buy into.
I can, but then you're an anti-vaxxer. But there is kind of a weird tension in this movie where she's kind of shutting it down in front of people because she might be like she's shutting him down because she's kind of embarrassed by it because these other 2, her sister and her husband, are Western doctors who have sold their practice and stuff, and it does get a little bit awkward around the tables. Such as conversation, because he's talking about like I don't believe in having jobs, but then he's also kind of following Robbie, who's the other parent, around, kind of badgering him, and it's like, what are you doing? Also, you're in my house. Yeah. But then he's like, look, I understand you have all these ideas, but I think you forget what me and my wife do.
Yeah, it's just
Eastern
like
beliefs.
you can cut the tension with a butter knife. Like most of the time when those sort of scenes, or at least what they were trying to infer was that the natural law of things was being upset because of chemical imbalances, i.e. the frog spawn.
They're making the frogs gay!
They're making the frogs gay!
Oh my god, Kanye West is a Nazi now.
The lesbian agenda.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Speaking of Alex Jones, Kanye West is an actual legitimate Nazi now. I mean, come on.
A Hitler sympathizer. Like, I mean, if you thought your career was possibly over, it is over now.
But he still has support, which is the scary part. Anyway, onto non-real life-threatening horrors. Yeah, there's just this big tension, and on one hand I feel bad for Jonah, and then on the other hand I'm like, this guy's kind of an asshole.
He is. He comes
like,
across
hits the fuck out of the kids for doing kid shit. But,
yes,
but I mean, they are also evil. But like he like I forget which kid it is that like throws the sled down that like causes the initial kind of ruckus. Like when we start to see the blonde
curly haired one.
The little boy.
The little shit. Yeah, I call him the little shit.
Who doesn't speak one time, or he does. All he says is, "Mommy, mommy."
Oh.
He reminds me of the kid from the Babadook, actually. They look kind of alike. But he shows, like, our intro to him is him being sick and him throwing up what is very obviously custard. Every time the kids throw up, it's custard mixed with, like, gelatin or something. It's bright yellow and, like, viscous. It looks ridiculous. But
I can get into the gore of it. I don't mind.
Like, it is nasty.
You know us, we're all about, like, living for practical effects and all of this kind of thing. And to be fair, they utilize them really well in this series. In this series of, like, deaths and murders. Like, they utilize them really well.
And I think it comes from where most good practical effects come from simply not having budget to do CG stuff. But, like, I always say, like, I will take really shitty, crappy, like, food service table effects over, like, even a decent CG.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, anytime I see CG, it's like,
you just say in your head it's not
impeccable. Exactly. Even if it's impeccable, it's the uncanny valley thing of my mind is like, well, that's not really there.
Yeah.
You know, the reason Jaws is scary is because when we see that shark go past the boat, that's physically in the water. It's
physically there, yeah.
You know, but I don't know. People give a better performance when there's something in the room to react to versus, like, I can tell when you're being afraid of this tennis ball on a stick.
Yeah.
Or this X marker on the wall or whatever, you know? But the effects in this, though, when they pull him, like, over, they flip him over and just the head, like, flaps open. Me and Emma literally were just like, my God!
It was fantastic. It was the, believe it or not, considering I haven't watched this film in years, it was the one death that I remember vividly. Was like, obviously, that he went straight into that it's like a 3-prong rake, and basically it's just turned upside down, so his head went right in and it dragged his skull back as he flew into it. So I was just like,
they cracked it up like a coconut or
like
something.
a coconut, like if you could imagine just like a rectangular slice of cranium just peeled back and guts and blood, and you can see the brain like doing this, like that slight pulsing motion.
I was trying
just
to figure out exactly what happened to him, because I will say one thing about this movie that kind of distracted me a bit. The editing is kind of weird.
Yes,
they edit over stuff where I kind of couldn't tell what was happening. Like, there's a scene later where, like, Chloe, who is the initial mom's sister or whatever, she's kind of getting jumped on by the other two kids, and I was like, wait, are they killing her or what?
Are they terrorizing
they kind of just
her?
like, they cut away from stuff really weird.
Yeah.
And when this is all going down, Casey is trying to sneak off to a party. That's why she's, like, dressed more provocatively, even though she's really not showing that much skin, because she's wearing a denim miniskirt, but she's also wearing, like, thigh-high socks, though. Like, she's showing, like, this much skin or whatever. And she's wearing a crop top, but also trying to conceal a tattoo that's on her thing.
Okay,
she's, quote-unquote, I'm the abortion that got away, or whatever. I'm like, that's kind of... Because she goes in, and this is why I thought that it wasn't so much like he's the creepy uncle as much as it was they're both kind of into it thing, because they go into the shed and she's like...
Well, he's smoking a J, and basically she's just like, I'm cool enough, I've never done it, but let me try it. And then he's like, it's going to blow your brains out. And she's like, it's cool, I already got a tattoo of an aborted fetus on my stomach.
It's weird. I also have a weird, like, read on what age she is.
Yeah.
I kind of get that she's like she's 17. She's, like, almost like an adult, you know? Because she's like, I don't know, because, again, we see at the end, so she technically is still a child, if that's where this disease goes.
Yeah.
But then it's the Gremlins thing. It's like, what are the rules?
Yeah.
See, movies have fucked us up where we can't just look at a movie on its face and take it for face value. We have to read into it and stuff. You know, I never started questioning Gremlins until, like, a couple of years ago, where
and
it's
then
like,
you realize
it's
there's
midnight
all these
where,
potholes.
though? What happens if I fly from this side of America to that side of America and feed it in the air? Like, what's midnight where? You know, like, what do you mean Gizmo can't get wet? He was out in the snow a minute ago. Our atmosphere is wet. You know, Gizmo himself is wet. They eat food, which is wet. I don't fucking know.
So, let's not... I don't think that was the intention of the director. Okay,
So
I really
Casey and his
don't.
uncle. Yeah, let's just get back onto it. Let's get onto brass tacks and fucking uncles.
Literally. Or figuratively, depending on how you read into the situation.
But see, what this said to me was it inferred that something already had happened. Because we also kind of get the other mother, who I'm just going to call her the other mother.
The dark curly-haired one?
Dark curly-haired one who is Doctor Who's sister.
Yeah, I just labelled the kids as kid arsehole number 1, kid arsehole number 2, oldest kid arsehole number 1.
And brown-haired child.
Yeah.
What's that from Ready or Not? Brown-haired niece. Nice to see you again. But yeah, I don't know. I think it adds a really kind of cool... like, there's a lot of weird family dynamics going on in this. Because we have, like, step-family, we have family married in, we have uncled fucking nieces, possibly, potentially. We have just, like, weird... It's all weirdly kind of backhanded and all kind of inferred. But it's good. It works really well. It's very effective in kind of building weird tension that comes naturally with family. There's always some kind of weird...
That sitting across the table scene is probably one of the biggest tensions in the film.
Yeah.
Because, like, quite literally, all the kids, apart from obviously Casey, all the kids have turned. They are trying to... Oh, no, sorry. I should say that the little blonde-haired girl, she's still not fully changed, shall we say, and they're still terrorizing her and breaking her down mentally.
Yeah, and it goes from youngest to oldest because it builds up that way. Like little devil angel baby is the first one. He's already sick when the movie starts. Like, he brings it there.
Yeah.
This movie is strangely apocalyptic.
It is, because when I look at how the sort of transmission of whatever virus,
as opposed to the transmission,
it is, that it is, I do think it's sort of like that thing where you sort of look at and they sort of do it very strategically when it comes to the actual deaths of the kids, whereas you, in a sense, you're rooting for some parents, and in a way you're also looking at it going like, should I be rooting for them because that means they're going to kill their children? And
it is shocking
it's walking
when the kids
a very
do die,
grey
though.
line.
Like, even though you know these kids are the villain, again, it's only like, I don't ever want to have kids, but there is something innately human or tribalistic about primates that it's like, those are your kids, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those are kids on the outside of the womb. Like, you've already had this, because again, abortion does come up in this movie.
In the most stupidest way.
By the way, abortions, okay? Just
like,
that's kind of
like,
it.
It just sounds like the mother is like, you were my abortion. I was going to get you as an abortion, but you're not an abortion. But I'm going to make you remind you every single day of your life that you're an abortion.
Yeah, but then I also thought, like, did Casey get an abortion? Or,
that's what
I
was confused with that message.
Because, when I saw that she got the tattoo, I was like, oh, she's had an abortion. Or
and then it's like, oh, I was the
Virgin
abortion.
Mary, because
like,
there's always some pregnant chick in a Christmas-themed horror movie because Mary.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was just going to be as simple as that. But, what about the uncle, though? Because she shows him the tattoo and stuff like this. I don't know. It's again, it's all weirdly inferred. But, like, during this scene, when Casey
never
and the
confirmed.
uncle... No.
And it doesn't come into the plot either.
No, just show me the uncle naked and I'll be happy. This uncle is very, very hot, though. Human chair of the week. Give me a minute to think of something, though. Give me a minute.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, I have to. It's there. I'm going for it. Boom.
Uncle Jeremy Sheffield, potentially queer. Yes, he is. You didn't even give me a whole minute, bro. Because I went to go look him up last night, and the first search result was Jeremy Sheffield husband, and I was like, oh.
You were like, hey, queen.
When you find out a celebrity is gay, it's like, well, I'm one step closer to have him fucking my head. And he would probably know what that sound means.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah,
insert shady rattlesnake.
Chloe, the auntie, she comes in and sees Casey kind of sitting there. I don't want to say legs spread, but there's a couple of almost upskirt shots where we're supposed to kind of get that she's kind of trying to get the uncle to fuck her. So then immediately from there, there's a tension between Chloe and Casey.
Yes, that
'Cause
was
she's
another
basically
thing.
like, you're trying to fuck my husband.
Yeah.
And she thinks that Casey is responsible
She just
for all the
didn't become
deaths.
a slag. She became a total slag.
We found that written on the wall in Fibbers the other day. I
love
was
it.
so happy. But yeah, oh fuck, one of my buttons came off.
Oh,
Whatever.
God.
What am I, a pussycat doll over here? But
Jesus. Okay.
but no, we kind of get another weird tension then, because Chloe, the auntie, then thinks that Casey's responsible for everything and is also intentionally trying to fuck her husband.
Yes.
Which may or may not be true. But I can see why, though, because, like, why she might think she's responsible, because I think it's kind of inferred that Casey's kind of a quote-unquote bad kid, or is quote-unquote, like, kind of a shitty teenager or whatever. And also, she was supposed to have been there when all this went down, like when Robbie gets killed, but she's like, I wasn't there, and it's like, but you were supposed to be though. Like, it looks suspect. Like, I don't blame them for acting suspicious of her, because you're not going to go, it's the children that are killing everybody.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say about them being suspicious about the children is, even when it comes to a point where they seen the kids, the mother was being terrorized by them. This is the black curly-haired mother.
Yeah.
Sister bitch. And,
The other mother.
And father being, like, stabbed in the stomach with a fucking child's baby toy. And all of this, they're still like, it's not them, it's you, you fucking wee raping little cunt, you.
Yeah.
They just blame her the whole time. It's like, you are remaining blatantly unaware that your kids are murdering your friends and family.
Because I think these, again, like, these are two, like, diametrically kind of opposites style of families, because one of them is kind of, I'm just going to guess that one of them are, like, less rich, or one of them are, like, kind of struggling because he's, like, kind of entrepreneurial and kind of a quote-unquote scam artist, according to this, because it's like he's it's weird. This is like in that era where people associating their business with the internet were kind of looked at as being sketchy, or like on a weird come up where it wasn't like legitimate yet. Again, like, I think it was kind of around 2010. It's like, once like the iPhone came out, people started being like, okay, like, I can see where this tech thing is, like, legitimate and it's not like a pipe dream or whatever. But it's still, at this point, it's one side of the family who is successful, rich, and wanting to homeschool their children, and they don't hit children, and they talk to their children, and, like, they're more kind of hippy-dippy about stuff, versus the other side, where at least Jonah physically disciplines the children.
Got a big, massive Jeep.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got money. Yeah,
it's all very weird, but again, it doesn't really like factor into the plot. Well, ish. I mean, it just adds to the tension as to, like, these two sides of the family are different.
So
but
the next death is Polly,
Casey.
which is the little kid. It gets it in the neck.
Oh yes. But
I love this.
it was also accidental though, and you do feel terrible for her because there's like a weird apprehension.
Yeah,
and even
you
after
see,
the fact,
there's
she's
the
like,
thing.
"Oh my god!"
He was coming at her with a scissors, with one of those
Yeah.
like garden shear metal long pointy ass scissors,
Yeah.
and like basically going to get it in the face. And like,
This is Casey. Casey is trapped under the bookshelf.
Yeah,
or something.
and then the mother. Actually, before that is the scene on the jamboree where she trips back. This fucking kid. Fuck this little kid. He was a little prick.
Why would you
I
not grab him from underneath?
I
though?
would literally just be like, "Come here, you little fucker."
Fine, you can fucking stay here. Then.
Yeah, I would have
Fuck
been
yeah.
like, "What are you stepping back from?
Yeah.
Just fucking come down yourself, you little shit."
Emma was saying the same thing. She was like, I would just leave his fucking ass outside.
Yeah, that's parenting at its finest. Let the little fucker sit up
No, you
there
can
and
freeze,
freeze,
you little
and
cunt.
then he'll
Yeah.
realise it's not so fun to make mommy climb up the fucking jamboree and break her goddamn knee.
That's it. It's
not fun.
It works to your advantage to let your kid fall off the couch one time while they're jumping on it versus trying to stop them doing it every time.
single
Because if they
time.
do it
Yeah.
one time and they hurt themselves,
never
they
do it
won't do it
again.
again.
Yeah.
Unless they're like into that or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I just love this sort of cutaway thing. It happens a good few times. It happens with Slay Dog guys, the head death.
Jeremy Sheffield.
Jeremy.
That's the actor.
Oh, Jeremy, no.
Robbie.
It happens with Jeremy. It's a fast cutaway. It happens with
Well, they're flashing to everything during
the
his
mother's like breaking the knee,
The shin bone is out of the skin.
breaking the skin. Immediate cutaway. And then when Paulie
The mum is
dies,
getting attacked.
he gets like the glass shard through his neck, cuts away.
Yeah.
It does it in everything.
I
Every
think
single
it's a
death.
very clever way to get around being heavily censored, because we can
Yeah.
see the aftermath and the gore, but we can't physically see the glass go into the child's neck
Yes.
or whatever.
So again, which is why I look at it and I'm just like, yes, I want to see Pennywise bite that little shit's arm off.
Well,
you
now
know,
with this new HBO Pennywise show, I'm
I
gonna
hope
get my
so.
fucking wish, and I'm gonna see Pennywise eat a fucking baby. It's all I wanted.
what?
It's
5
just-
years later?
I'm waiting for a movie to go there.
Yeah.
I know that since it's not that I want to see children be fucking mutilated. That's not the only reason why. It's just that sometimes, like, I think you're on the same boat as me, is that, like, I crave to be shocked and
Yes.
actually appalled by horror movies.
Yeah.
That's why Hereditary fucked me up so much. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't expect her to die. And it's a
You
little
see,
girl.
it's a boundary line that's very, very rarely crossed.
Which is
And-
weird. Do children have rights? Are they equal? If so, kill them in movies.
But I think it's just because it hits a nerve with people that innately, as human beings, when you're a parent, you want to avoid the thoughts or even like the impetus of seeing something happen to
Like, the human species
a
protects
child.
our young.
Exactly.
We're one of those animals that
And-
are particularly bonded to our children.
yeah, mentally and physically, it's painful to watch anything like that.
Especially
but then
by
again,
your own hand.
yes.
So
But then
kills the
again, me
kid.
and you were also looking at some scenes in this, and then we were also looking at Pennywise eating that child, and we're just kind of like twisting our fingers, going,
It's because it's a monster, you know.
just
it's
grinning, you know.
Well, I suppose even in that scene, that's
Now, some people might be triggered by that,
But like in that scripted scene for the prequel or whatever, like that,
Yeah.
that is also very painful, because it's not just Pennywise eating a baby; it's Pennywise chasing a mother who then offers Pennywise her baby to save the town, and then
Yeah.
he just kills the town anyway, which is like, oh, you know.
You are just feeling yourself with that gig, aren't you? Look at you. You're either
like
thinking it's
Cher
a
over
wig,
there, like 70s
or
Cher.
you're
Oh.
thinking you're Mary, and you're just like, let me just whip this hood over. You're feeling yourself
I'm with
that.
child, my cup runneth over.
So,
But yeah, this is like particularly kind of painful for Doctor Who, Doctor Y,
Dr. When.
Doctor. Nobody ever asked Doctor How, you know. But it's
Dr.
like,
what?
because even in this situation, if this
Barbara,
kid
please.
wasn't, Barbara, please, Barbara, deliberately embarrass me in front of a reporter.
You will not stand up from that seat until you've cleaned that plate.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the dirt. Okay. One of these days, I'm
No
just gonna
wire hangers!
oh my god! One of these days, I will just do that monologue on this podcast. But one day I will find a way to retroactively do "Mommy Dearest" on this fucking podcast. I will do it.
The way I can see that only happening is like, God, we're going off on so many tangents. The way I can see
But it's
that
mothers
happening
abusing
is,
kids.
and that's horror.
That's
That's
it
true
is. That
horror.
scene is genuinely scary. She comes in with like,
Looks like a ghost.
but she is, because she's got like white face cream on, and her eyes are like sticking out of her head, and, she's
and her
got this
hair
big
is like plastered
red
to her
lipstick.
face.
And then she just beats the shit out of Christina, which I don't think really happened.
Oh, okay.
I'm not the only one either.
Wow.
Christina, you fraud. So yeah, killing your own kids.
Love that. So the reason why, now this is obviously like based off of what you're seeing, so the reason why these Nordic kids, man, like the arsehole dad, which his name is Jeremy.
I thought it was Jonah.
I thought it was Jeremy. Is it Jeremy?
We'll call him.
Asshole
We'll
kid,
call him
him.
stepdad.
Yeah. Stepdad. So, yeah, Jonah. So, stepdad arsehole comes in and finds the kid and is like, no, you're alive. You're alive. You're not alive. You're alive. I
Barely
hate you."
reacts at all.
He
though.
doesn't. He just picks up the kid and he's just...
It's okay. It's okay. I'll
and
just
then
rub
5
some
minutes
herbs on
later,
it
it's
or
just
whatever.
never happened.
Quick, get me some hornet soup or whatever it is. You know. He's
Some
trying to do
lentils.
some, he's trying to do some
chicken
Eastern
soup.
medicine on or whatever.
Let me get some
Somebody light some
on this
incense.
bitch.
Somebody get the jasmine chai out.
Get the tiger bomb. Get the tiger bomb.
I one time put that on my lips because I didn't know what it was. It was bad. Yeah.
God, don't. If you ever use Tiger Balm and you're doing anything with your dick, make sure to wash your hands before you do anything with your dick.
Yeah, because you don't want to get your dick all over your hands when you're putting menthol cream on it. But yeah, so he like barely reacts, but she's like shell shocked to bits because like on the outside, like we know. Sorry, sorry, I have it right by my mouth.
Compared to Toni Collette, the reaction is non-existent.
But she's sitting there and she's like clearly in shock. But then it's like we know what happened because we know this kid is evil. But then on the surface of it, it's like you just killed your own kid, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and then they kind of lump Casey and Doctor Who together, because they're both like, you're going crazy. Because Casey is like, no, he was going to kill me. And like, to be fair, if they all saw, you'd still probably generally wouldn't kick your kid over if you're coming at your other kid with a knife. But like, I don't know. It's kind of like, what do you do? You know?
Well, in that situation, I mean, considering we know what's going on, in that situation, I can see why the dad then turns on Casey, because she
looks crazy.
Come across to him as demented, yeah. As, like, you literally, like, forced your mother's hand into killing your stepbrother, my firstborn, my secondborn, my only son. My boy! So, like, it makes sense, obviously, like, what he does later on. But all the way through that, I'm just going to say this. After this point, when that little shit dies, right?
Yeah.
Right up until the point where he locks Casey up in that child's bedroom or whatever, he has seen so much evidence that the kids are doing the shit. They're evil. They're fucking gnashing out at people. And, like, he still chooses to blame Casey.
The auntie's face, and
yeah,
then he even gets his arm sliced by one of the kids in the kitchen.
He literally cut the kid, the little girl with the brown hair, literally slices his slices his goddamn forearm open.
Yeah, and then
he still acts like fucking nothing's wrong. And he's like, oh, it's still Casey, but the kids are running around killing people.
It is weird and Casey is also, quote unquote acting. I just did air quotes there in case you couldn't see that. She's like kind of out of 10 like the whole time for the rest of this movie. Like she never once is like, look, the kids are fucking sick or something. Like something is going on with the children. They attacked us out in the shed. They also very clearly like pulled their dad's dead body into their tent and played with the body. Because when
Pauline,
brown-haired auntie goes and
bitch,
who also is giving me a lot of 2008 fashions. She's got like the chunky knit like headband with buttons and flowers and all over it. She goes into the tent, or no, she goes out to say goodbye to her husband, who has now died at this point. Which, can I just say, the ambulance never arrives. But we know why.
Why?
Because all the children in the world have gone crazy. It's an apocalypse situation.
Oh yeah, because the end.
Yeah, like they all show up. But at first, at the end showing up, I was like, who the fuck is that? I was like, that kid came out of fucking nowhere. But, yeah, so...
They can't all have ingested frog spawn.
No, but I think it is like a contagious thing, though. I think it's like a virus at this point. Because, like, one kid is getting sick, that little fucker gets sick, and then they all go and sleep in the room together.
Yes.
And then... But I think it does go from youngest kids to oldest kids. Because it goes from the youngest kid all the way up to Casey.
All the way up, yeah.
But, where the fuck were we? Oh, so Doctor Who goes out and asks Dr. Y and finds out Dr. How. But she goes out and she's the one that initially opens this. And I actually think the imagery of this tent, which is one of the posters, it'll be the one that I throw up on Insta.
Oh, yeah, with the yellow and the white.
Yeah, I think it's very pretty. But one thing I will say about the set decorating, I can tell sometimes they just painted the ground white.
Yes.
There's a scene where Casey falls over or whatever like that. It's like, that's not snow. Like, everything is literally just sprayed white or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, she goes in and she finds the body initially.
And he's still alive.
He's still alive. Or like momentarily, he kind of like chokes up or whatever. But his guts have been exposed, and which I don't think was the initial injury. So the kids have obviously been playing with the body and cutting it open. But there's a baby doll just like shoved inside
In
of
his
his like
stomach.
carcass, kind of.
It's great.
But then the brown haired aunt, she sees it. We're just not giving any names in this at all. We're just giving vague descriptions. You'll
I think
know.
the only one is Casey.
Yeah, well, it's because we follow
An
her around
arsehole
the most.
stepdad.
Yeah, for real. Again, it's
Doctor
not-
Who and brown curly haired lady.
brown haired
And dead
child,
dad.
Nordic bitch, and Nikki. I think the other kid who doesn't speak once in the whole movie.
Not at all.
But yeah, she goes out and she sees the body that's been like defiled and stuff, and then basically kind of acts as if nothing really happened, and goes out and then gets her neck or her leg just smashed. Yeah, no, like her leg is fucked.
I
Which
truly
makes no sense.
enjoy the gore.
The injury makes no sense though.
Well, explain it.
Oh, because like
Explain the injury. How does it not make sense?
She would have to swing like another 90 degrees for her shin bone to be snapped that way.
But the way I saw it was that
Like she would just fall off the ladder. If she fell forward and got a cut, that would make more sense.
So my idea is that the way she falls is her foot doesn't slip out this way, it slips this way. And as she fell back, her foot latches onto the one underneath.
But see, that makes no sense. Why would her foot slip in the opposite direction to the rest of her body?
I don't know.
Well, see, there you go. I hate this movie.
Tear it apart! Oh, God.
Okay, but that doesn't matter. So everything is kind of starting to like go down now, where the aunt is like outrightly blaming. The aunt is like outrightly blaming Casey, and then there's a lot of scenes of people going to look for the children in the woods.
Yeah,
There's
so
a lot of that.
curly brown haired lady goes out to, after she's been terrorized by the kids, still in her husband is practically a stuck pig in the fucking yellow tent of death, and the kids are like terrorizing her, and then she fucking sees them like ripping at the fucking
like
they
with,
rip it
with,
apart,
like, garden tools
and then she
stuff.
still goes after them.
Yeah,
And she's like, oh my God,
you
you're
would
freezing.
though. But I mean, you
Oh,
would.
no.
Like they're her kids though. Like
I
mean,
know,
you
but
would.
like,
I wouldn't. See, I just wouldn't have children. I'd be fine.
So like my whole deal with this is that when she does go out, she does chase after them. Everyone goes out, comes back, goes out, comes back. I don't know. That's all that. It's really confusing. I think it's just there to add extra runtime because it's just barely over the 90-minute mark. And
It's just under. It's 80 minutes.
Oh God, spare me. So like when they do go out, when Pauline, because that's her name, she goes out, and the kid, I love it. Her kid is just like, Mom, let me just hold on to your hoop earring. And it just continues to pull,
And they kept pulling
pull and pull and rips the whole fucking thing off.
Again,
I
that would just
loved
come
it.
out.
It would.
Like
it would.
hoop
it
earrings
would,
have a latch at the back,
Yeah.
so that can't happen. You
But
know?
maybe they're rich and those are like solid.
Oh, we don't
gold
like
hoops.
safety because we have money.
Because we have money. And then randomly, the little brown-haired little shit, the youngest one, comes out.
The
And it's
pencil!
Like, let me finish you off, bitch.
Yeah, that was good.
And stabs her right through the eye with a blue crayon.
And we see it.
I love it.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at the lack of child type things that they killed people with though.
Yes, it's more sort of, the deaths are sort of more circumstantial.
Yeah, like
rather
it
than
happens like with what's
them-
around.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus like being killed with like a toy or like a kid's fire truck or,
Exactly.
or something like this.
They're very circumstantial. They're not, well, apart from this one's actual death, it's not totally intentional.
Like
up
they
until
brought their
this
own
point.
shit. They planned on doing this.
Yeah.
They didn't just like find
They
whatever
have
was
like
around.
fully turned, shall we say, at that
So to
point.
speak. But so this is kind of where it all starts to like actually like go down. This is where everybody's kind of like, okay, fine, I guess the kids are evil, except for Jonah, who is still like, no, Casey did it. And then he locks Casey in the room, but he also like bludgeons her with a toy and is like,
Oh my
fuck
God,
you.
yeah,
He calls her
yeah.
like he calls her a bitch or something like that. And she's like, what the fuck? And then she calls him dad for the first time in the movie, and it's like, that's so sad because it's like he's not believing her, and they clearly already have this weird like contentious relationship beforehand, and he's just like not even giving her the benefit of the doubt, and then he just drives off with the Valkyrie. He drives off with her and then leaves him there, but Casey thinks that she's taking the mom also.
Yes.
So Casey has this moment of just being like, oh my god,
I'm here on
like,
my
I'm
own with these kids.
stuck.
Yeah.
For real. But then Casey goes, they do the Shining thing of she's trying to break the door down, and they whip pan the camera.
Yeah.
Like they focus on the chair hitting the door. They don't focus on the door. And then I'm pretty sure they do the undershot of where she's like the Jack shot of where she's like banging on the door and it's shot from under.
They do it from the mother's point of view because she's crawled her way up the stairs.
And they do the Wendy where she's like, "Stay back,
yeah,
stay back."
It's
so
The Shining. It really
yeah,
is.
It
Can I
is.
just say there is this one moment after Jonah like fucks off and takes the Valkyrie, that she is like practically ready to slash her wrists.
The man,
like yeah,
and
I was
she's like holding the blade.
Because I like legit, like she is ready to hold that blade up against her wrist, and I was like, whoa,
Well,
what?
she look
Because it
from
came
her
out of
perspective,
nowhere.
But she had just killed her own child.
I know that, but like the point being is that like I would have at least wanted to see one other slightly mentally
Or
forward
a scar
progression
or something.
No, just like from the moment the kid dies to her picking up the blade.
You wanted
off
to
her,
see her
get
like
wrist.
snap, kind of.
I wanted to see that. Like it's like the Daenerys thing. It was like well, that just came out of nowhere.
It's like you can do that, but you have to have.
But give me just a
can't go
little
from
bit
A to
progression.
F. I have to have the rest.
I have
in the middle.
to have B, C, D, and E.
Yeah.
I have to see that. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe where your character has suddenly gone in that direction.
I believe there's like at least one episode of Game of Thrones we could talk about. If we did, like, we could totally do the Battle of Winterfell.
We could do the Red Wedding.
That'd be really
That'd be
fucking cool.
shit. But God, that was random. I mean, regardless, she doesn't do it because Casey is screaming from upstairs saying, like, don't let the kids in. Believe me, they are the ones doing this.
Yeah.
And, like, she does this thing where, like, we're sort of led to believe it is a great shot because it's tension-filled where the mother is moving away from Casey.
Yeah.
And because she's after doing this, she thinks she's going to let the kids in. Because you get that long sort of drawn shot because the door is, like, slowly opening. And it's not the
it's
kids,
like they're already
it's just
inside,
the wind.
you know?
It's like they've already gotten in, and then she thinks she's out. But basically what's happened is she's just locked them in with the kids.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, fuck.
It's these two kids that I find the actual creepiest because these two kids kind of do the heavy lifting.
Yes,
like we get to see them do the most stuff, and we had just seen them like kill their mother. But she's like very slowly crawling. In my mind, I'm like, look, you have another leg, girl. Get the fuck up.
Yeah, like, I mean, would you not be, like, hobbling on that one foot? I mean, like, come on.
Oh, but before the Valkyrie goes, she's like, oh, Daddy, I just have to do something real quick. And she takes out her splints.
Oh my god,
That's
yeah,
so
the
twisted.
fucking cunt.
She takes out these
you
two like,
can't.
drumsticks. But I almost would have been happier having more of that particular girl, because I think she acted the best.
She could have put more into it. Yeah.
But she takes out her splints. But then in my mind, I'm like, get a brush or a broom or something, like bring yourself around.
But I also thought, like, I looked at it from the point of view, I was like, this one is fucking off. Like, what else does she stand to gain except just giving her mum that extra bit of pain? Just being fucked up.
Just being fucked up. I kind of like it though. Yeah. Again, I think it gets creepier the little, like, slightly older you get because you have more kind of intelligence. It's like these kids are kind of like bludgeoning people or just doing stuff that they think would hurt people, but she's like being twisted about it.
Yeah.
Like, she could have just killed the man, but I think that would have, like, if I'm
If the
presuming
dad had
she's
come
thinking
back.
about it, that would have blown the whole plan, and then everybody would have been against them. But it kind of was frustrating where I'm like, get up a little bit, you know? If you already have another kid that you need to save.
I was like, you could very easily. I mean, those kids are like Augusta Wynn.
Get the banister up and pull yourself up or something.
Like, I wanted her to be like, I get that there's that internal struggle. I understand that I can, because you can
pick them up and put them in a room.
Exactly.
Lock them in a room.
So like, my idea was
You're
it was
grounded.
like literally just pick that bitch up,
Yeah.
throw her, lock her in the fucking bedroom, and don't let her out.
And do the same with the other kid.
And do the same with the other kid. Keep them separate. And
Even
don't
the
let them
older
do
kid
anything.
is like the other kid, the boy Nicky, is probably like 8.
At most.
Like, they're all, like, when we say kids, it's not like 12-year-olds. Like, these are like children.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, the thing is,
It's like, how do you get overpowered? I think if two kids came in this room right now, even with knives, I figure I probably could fuck them
You
up
could fuck them
very
up.
easily.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you could fucking fuck them up.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell.
It's purely just because the deaths have been either accidental or coincidence based off of the surroundings. So,
Yeah.
like, if there were two adults with your one that died in the forest with the bitchy curly brown haired lady.
Yeah.
If she was with another adult, that death wouldn't have happened.
No, not at all.
If the dad,
it's the presumed innocence. It's the,
yeah.
it's the X thing. It's the reason, though, it's like Pearl and Howard got away with all that stuff is because people assumed they're old. They're not going to be fucking doing anything weird.
Exactly.
They use that to their advantage.
Yeah.
I understand why she was killed in the forest because she embraced her kids and was like, oh god, the kids are here. And then they're kind of pulling on the earring, which again is something kids do.
Yeah.
And then they pull it out, but then they overpower her. And I'm like, just get up.
Or just
get up.
Just kick the kid.
All
like,
she has
with
is her
your
eyeshadow,
heel.
like an eyeshadow crayon. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's,
Oh
but that's literally it. It's
Yeah.
like, I thought they could have gone Michael Myers in the zombie remake where they could have like beaten her with sticks or something.
Yeah.
I think that could have been kind of dark.
But I do think, like, I understand the mother's sort of reluctance to what, like, because, like, obviously the kids were, like, getting closer and closer to her, and she's like, get away.
Yeah.
And I can understand, because there is that internal struggle. She does not want to hurt them.
Yeah.
Even though, like, all of this terrible shit has already happened, the mother instinct is
Like,
kicking
you still
in.
can't be
and
sure
the
because
internal
up
struggle
until
is there.
then she still thinks that she killed her kid by accident, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, he was a psychopath or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, like, I also was thinking this whole time where I always think this, like, at least when it comes to a slasher or some kind of supernatural thing, where I'm like, how are they going to explain this at the end?
Yeah, so...
You don't understand. The kids went crazy, so we killed all of them.
Yeah, but at this point...
And the uncle.
At
It
that
looks
point
like
in
Casey and the
time...
auntie did it.
Oh, yeah.
But it did, though, because
Yeah.
all the crazy kids are dead.
Yeah.
Except for a brown-haired niece.
And blonde-haired one.
And Nikki.
Valkyrie.
Oh, and her,
Valkyrie
yeah.
girl, she's still alive. But, like, again, it's like, it's the same thing as the beginning. Like, because the plot was so all-encompassing, like, all the people are suddenly dead now and blah, 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 that it kind of doesn't matter at that point. Because it's, you know, Casey basically, like, breaks through the door and, can I just say, this is fucking brilliant, grabs the little boy by the ears and yanks him through the hole in the door and pulls him down onto the splints of the door and right through the neck.
Casey's
And I was
supposed to be killing
just like,
kids before
oh,
this movie, though.
no problem.
Yeah, no.
Swish, swish. It was done. She was looking at it going like, I got this.
But I'm like, you waited a bit fucking long, Casey.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you could have... The whole time she was, like, just petting at the door. Just being like, Mem. I'm like, kick the fucking door in.
Yeah.
Like, just kick the fucking door in.
That
it's really
looks
not
like
that big.
one of those doors that you could easily get your boot and fuck it.
You could probably
right
pull
up.
the handle off.
You
easily,
probably
you know?
could,
It's
you
like,
know?
by the way, this house is stunning, but it's 2008, so the people have ruined the interior of it. There's far too many, like, just very 2008. It's very 2008. Like, this has a potential to be a very stunning house, but again, it's 2008. There's throws everywhere. You know, can we get a tapestry in here or something? You know, can we get some nice lighting? Can we get
How much can we prove that we are white people? You know?
Yeah, we've
just that.
traveled. You know?
I want you to know that I've been to Nepal.
And you don't
okay?
even have any nice little tchotchkes to prove it or anything.
Dirty fucking bitches.
But we go on.
But we digress.
So they like get out.
Can I just say the fact that they
No.
just left the little brown-haired kid up against the banisters? They
Yeah.
just walked away
Well,
from
it's
her.
because me and Emma were saying last night. I was like, lock her in her room or something.
She gonna come back.
Yeah.
You guys are both limping down the stairs. Like,
she's,
that
like,
bitch
scared of
could
Casey,
walk
though.
right down and
Casey goes-
slice your ankles.
Yeah,
and you're
for real.
done.
Yeah,
like,
very
don't
Pet
forget
Sematary.
that bitch literally has one of the sharpest cheese knives I've ever fucking seen in her hand.
Yeah, for real.
Like, for real.
Look, you're going to your room. You're fucking grounded, you little prick. You killed your own dad.
Oh, pick them up by the scruff of the neck and just
Yeah, for
fuck them
real.
onto their beds and lock the fucking door. Like, I would.
This
if not,
episode
then I would,
proves
like-
why we should never be
Yeah, we should
parents.
never.
If you're not going to climb up off that fucking thing, you can stay here and freeze. You know?
Oh my God.
But when Casey, like, kicks the door out, finally, because the whole time she's just like, Mom! It's like, your mom is fine, you can see her, but just get out of the door. But when brown-haired niece sees Casey do that, she kind of like, oh, She gets like
She's
she
like, oh,
snaps
there's
it.
the bad bitch.
Yeah, she like snaps out of it and it's like, oh shit, because she really just lets them go.
Yeah.
But then they get in the other car and they're driving off, and it's at this point when I realized I had seen this, but like I don't know if I had seen it or if I was just in the room while it was on. Like, it didn't really count. But like this imagery at the end, I was like, oh, I do remember this. But Emma was like, again, I told you, Emma, shout out to Emma. She's like the best person and the worst person to watch movies with. Because she guesses out loud what she thinks is going to happen. But then also she'll like, she'll be like, what's going to happen? Like, what? And it's like, I haven't seen this movie either. But she also will fully like, oh, like when something happens. Like, I love that. But she was like, oh, they're going to find that car. That car that they drove off in is going to be, like, it's going to be broken up against a tree and there's going to be blood everywhere. And I really like that touch, though. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Again, it's inferring stuff that happened off camera,
screen,
which is all the scarier for me.
And like, you find Stephen Campbell's character, which, by the way, I only just realized where I've seen him before, is The Bank Job. He was in The Bank Job. Such an arsehole.
Sounds queer.
Okay. He's clearly not interested in being there for most of the time in this acting job, for sure. But he is like, he obviously did this thing where he crashed. He went straight through the windshield out into the snow, and it's like been snowing, and the kid has like buried him.
There's a couple of very beautiful shots when it comes to the snow. There's a shot of really up close to the snow where we can see blood spreading through it.
Oh, I love
thought
those shots.
Stunning.
I think they're awesome.
And then there's a shot of blood all over the ground that's just being covered by snow. I thought that was really fucking cool. Like, I don't know, there's not enough horror movies set in the snow. Like, blood against snow looks really... It's like that
it's
scene
effective.
in Kill Bill where red, and it just...
Yeah.
the blood flies, and then we see the scalp. That, but yeah.
So Valkyrie comes out...
I'm gay!
I can't remember what she has in her hand. I think it's a crowbar or something, or at least it looks like a crowbar.
It's some kind of instrument.
And like Casey's mom, Doctor Who, just whacked
Dr.
the
Y!
fuck out of her, like splat up against the back of the other car, and I fucking loved it.
It seriously was at this point though where I was like, how the fuck are they going to get away with this?
Yeah, you see, children being very vulnerable only makes it worse. Like, because of the circumstances, there's no way I mean, obviously autopsies and shit like that, but like the immediate circumstances, there's no way when you as a couple drive, apparently, I mean, she's infected obviously, but like as you drive away, there is no fucking way there's no way you're going to explain this.
No,
there's no way.
Even if
you
it was
sat
like,
down
okay,
that
these kids are
brown-haired
psychotic
kid,
and did kill people.
yeah.
They're not just going to throw a child in jail. It's like you look at a kid who's acting out that way as
Where's they
mentally
go to
ill.
foster home or
Exactly.
like one of those like really.
So it's Andy from Child's Play. It's like he's thrown around in the system, and Karen, the mom in that, is looked at as crazy.
Yeah,
you know. But it's just I always think in situations you can't be like, oh, it was a ghost. No, you don't understand. It was the mother of this boy who died on this lake years ago, who somehow is still a child in the lake, but also is a grown man who wears a hockey mask. But it wasn't him this time, it was his mother. I didn't kill all my friends, it was her. But her body's gone though. Believe me. Like,
believe, trust and believe.
Seriously though, it's like I'm
not even lying.
But for real, I always think that about it. If I was ever in a horror movie situation, it's like, if I'm the last one left, it's gonna look like I killed all my friends. You can't be like, it was a spooky ghost. No, it was an extra dimensional demon. You know, it was the doll that was possessed.
It was a monster.
You know, it's like, you're going to jail. You're going to jail.
And the haunting last image of the kids just like slowly,
it was scary,
walking out of the woods.
It was very scary.
It was intimidating.
It actually gave me
but still I would literally just walk up to that first kid,
grab
him by the head and push him over.
Yeah, ran my fucking way. But it actually really reminded me of that shot in Dr. Sleep when Violet is being eaten, and she's like, those are my friends, and she looks away for a second, and she looks back, and there's more of them, and she looks back, and there's even more. It was actually almost exactly that shot. But the very last shot we see Casey find the stepdad, who looks like he's been skinned or something. I got
the impression that he was like, he like he did the head first collision. He went through the windshield.
Yeah.
And he
But
just
he
went
has no
into
skin
the snow.
or anything on
Do you
his
know what I mean?
face. Because he's
Like,
entirely red, but he's mostly
because you
covered.
can't. Yeah, you can't see him properly.
But I thought that was going to be a trap. I thought the kids were laying a trap because she's approaching it and it just looks like a lump in the thing, but then you see that there's blood. And then Casey goes and throws up her custard. As did the rest of the kids. But in my mind, I was like, is she infected or is she throwing up because she saw
the kid die?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But then she gets in the car. And, I mean, it's not even really told. It could be one or the other. It's never
Could
told
we
to
not
us.
have crime and violence, please?
This is Maynooth. This is a peaceful town.
Thank you.
Sorry. But
The
yeah.
po-po.
But yeah, at the end,
Hey
it's
ho,
literally
hey.
Casey and her driving away. And you can see that the mom has a moment of like,
She's side-eyeing
do I let her
daughter.
in or do I not let her in?
Yeah.
But then, like, she hasn't been weird up until this point, and she lets Casey in. But then at the end, it's just this. Again, it's very Kubrick. It's kind of.
I was
the
just
Kubrick
about to
stare.
say it's the Kubrick stare.
Or it just zooms
It's
into
just
Casey
slowly
and
like
kind
she's
of,
dropping her head more. Like
yeah. But in my mind, I was like, please don't let her just have a creepy smile or something at the end. That would really ruin it for me
Yeah.
because it's so cheesy. But yeah, I really like where they left this off, and then it's just so this movie is just apocalypse by way of children.
Yeah.
For
And
real.
I'm not mad at it either.
No,
You
a
know?
very, very, very simple concept. Just
I think it was tongue in cheek. It was gore. It was battery and violence.
It was
It was
tongue-in-cheek,
blood
pencil
and
in eye.
bone. And it works.
Yeah.
On a stupid level, it works. It was a good time.
One question: do you put bacon on your turkey when you cook it?
No, I don't think so.
They do that in this movie, and that kind of grossed me out.
Yeah.
Emma said that was like a thing, apparently, but like I don't want turkey flavored bacon for Christmas.
Or bacon flavored turkey.
I don't want that.
That's weird.
Just cook bacon on the side.
It's not natural.
Because then one side of it is just going to be.
Because you have
Powdered.
your ham anyway, so
Yeah, I don't
turkey
need
and
that.
beef and
I don't
spiced
need
beef
children,
shit.
and I don't need turkey. I don't need bacon. On
I
my
don't
fucking
need my
turkey.
kids, sneezing like massive boogers and wiping them on their pillows. That's fucking
Oh,
gross.
yeah, that was
That is
yeah.
gross.
Emma freaked out because she like into her hand, and then she looked at it, and we were like,
It was
"Ah!"
huge. It's like it was like
was
half
black.
her hand size,
Yeah.
and she just turns around,
Wiped it
and
on
she
her
just
own
wipes
pillow.
it on her pillow, and it's a massive like dark stain. It's fuck you. It's gross.
Oh, one thing I will say, we were trying to find this movie last night, and then we kept getting redirected to this movie that's set in like feudal Japan or something called like the children of Shang-Chi or something like that. And we found it was fucked up. But then this movie has a lot of allusions to Chinese medicine and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's kind of cool. What if they were like a weird little prequel or something?
Well,
But yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I didn't enjoy this movie, which is not what I was expecting from a 2008, what I assume is cheaply made British movie.
yeah, it's British horror at its basic. It's stupid comedy at times. It's stupid situations at times.
It doesn't reach higher than it can achieve.
Yeah, and it's fairly aware of itself as well. It doesn't try to be any deeper meaning than it's kids killing their parents and they're having a good time. You know what I mean?
Simple as.
It's literally just Christmas time. The kids get killer instinct and they go for it with their parents.
I liked it more than The Cottage.
That's a bonus, I suppose.
Yeah. Only because The Cottage literally wasted Doug Bradley on it, like a 2-second
Oh my
cameo.
god, that was such a nipple tease.
Like,
that
if you
was.
have Doug Bradley in your movie, why the fuck... Don't use him at all, or use him as
Or
a main
use him the
character in
best,
the movie.
yeah,
For
yeah.
real.
So what do we have next week?
That was The Children.
We have
Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We have Gremlins.
the confusion is real in your head, isn't it?
Yeah, I have my times mixed up.
Timelines, bro.
So I think
The multiverse has just fucked you.
we
I'm
may
telling you.
have... the multiverse is a top. But we may possibly have a Gwist.
Special Gwist.
Yes.
I love that.
That'd be
we
cool.
definitely have to call him that.
Special
You're
Gwist.
a special Gwist.
Special Gwist. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gremlins has also been another one that's I'm surprised we haven't done yet. But I think we're trying not to go for the obvious.
Yeah.
For
We
seasonal
did give it.
movies.
I remember we did give it a choice last year, but people went for Nightmare Before Christmas.
Did we do Nightmare Before
We
Christmas?
did. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we did. We picked our favorite songs and everything. So that is The Children, 2008, and
oh,
yeah,
oh.
we definitely did. We did that.
Did that? Hold
She
on.
did that.
I'm very confused.
So just make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram for some daily updated content.
Join us in our special guist. Oh, we did do Night Before Christmas.
Next week we're doing the Gremlins. Who directed that?
It's a Joe Dante movie, but
Oh my god! I swore in my head I thought it was Steven Spielberg.
It's a Joe Dante movie in the same way Poltergeist is a Tobe Hooper movie, where it's like Steven Spielberg basically made it. Steven Spielberg does that a lot with movies, where he's like, look, I'm not going to put my name on the poster, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I'm just going to tell you how to do everything.
Yeah.
I think it's an Amblin movie, possibly.
Oh, with the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Steven Spielberg definitely has both of his hands firmly on the project.
He had his hands firmly on this project's nipples,
which I would not mind.
Teasing.
Steven Spielberg is such a cutie. But yeah, one of my favorite movies, just period. Like, I watched this movie year round when I was a kid.
I, believe it or not, I think I've only watched it maybe once or twice in my entire life.
Nathan, if we watch it together, I'm going to be very annoying. It's
I'm down.
It's one of my movies.
We'll watch it, because I definitely need to refresh my memory for sure. All right, so you've been listening to
it without having watched it again.
You could probably just talk about it for the next 2 hours, and we would never need to watch it.
It's camp as fuck. One scene in particular we'll get to, but
so you've been listening to
They're Here.
We just never get it right. Pootcast.
Yes, it is.
Good.
Dr. Bye.
What?
Dr. When?
Keep going.
Dr. How?